Hello and welcome to the match review brought to you by the Scarf Bagara War Team. I'm Jimmy Harmer, and tonight I am joined by Dan Culverwell, Dan Johnson and Steve Barsley. It's great to have you on, guys, although we will be picking through the bones of that, I'd say in the end, disappointing 2-2 draw with Leyton Orient. But I think first, let's just hear what Mr. Challoner thought of that.
About being on the front foot and being aggressive at how we go about it, and us having control of the game and going and getting a third goal, I may as well have spoken to myself, because if anyone thinks that's what happened, or anyone tells me different than that's what happened, then good luck with that. I would suggest what would have sounded like happened was I told the players to not bother about the ball, just sit in as a deep block, not go and play, just lamp it forward and try and defend for 52 minutes. Well, they did try that and didn't do it very successfully.
So, yeah, Dave was not happy. And I mean, we've seen this probably maybe twice a season for the last sort of 3-4 years, where he does get very, very emotional after a game when the guys just aren't doing what he thinks they should be doing. And as he said, they basically make their own decisions up. Dan, did you see that coming from the team that you put out? Maybe even just talk about the subs bench as well, because that was something that sort of shocked me. I think the players that we had on the bench.
No, I mean, the starting lineup was very similar. It was the same starting lineup as obviously the Wickham game the Saturday before. Obviously, they put the performance there, and as Dave Challoner likes to do, not change a winning team unless there's an injury. So, wasn't massive surprise it was the same team as Wickham. The subs bench, like you say, Hill's on there, Fev's on there, Mother's Hill on there, and you're looking at a bench. And I was saying the same when I was sat there talking to Toby during the game. I'm excited about the subs bench. I'm excited about what the second half might look like with them players coming on. But just we sort of walked to like a slow death in that.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't understand the subs bench, Dan. I'm going to disagree with you, because without having a midfielder on that bench, I know we had 3 midfielders on the field, okay, and Camps was playing slightly further forward, but we know that Camps is injury prone, okay. I don't know what his figures are compared to Powell, but I bet they're not that dissimilar from the first couple of seasons. To be fair, so not having a midfielder on the bench did sort of worry me a little bit. What did you think, Steve?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when I saw it, because I knew Fiorini and Bailey were there, and then when they kind of named their starting 11, the subs bench, and I thought they're not on the bench, I thought that's a bit of a risk. But more so as well with the fact Fevrier was blowing on Tuesday. He was only on the pitch for 30 minutes, and it's clearly he wasn't fully fit. You got Mothersill coming back from still not quite right, and then you've not put Fiorini or Bailey on that bench, and it was just, for me, I felt that was a mistake. But I'm not the manager, but it just felt like a mistake. There was no cover.
The worrying bit about it all is Lewis Bate had apparently an operation on Friday, and he's going to be out till near Christmas. So, you know, if you're going to bring a player in, it looks like, for me, you need sort of a bit more cover in that middle midfield. And we've always said that, you know, for me, we've always lacked that bite in midfield, that ball winner, that Paul Turnbull, Jason Taylor type of player to play in that centre midfield. Norwood isn't that type of player. He needs somebody who's a little bit more aggressive and nasty to do that. Moxon, I think, can do it, but he's same again. He's here, there, and everywhere, and he hits a wall at the moment around about the 70 minutes mark.
But you can't expect that midfield of a 34-year-old, okay, and Moxon to play every single game, because that's effectively what we've been doing for the last probably 10 games, going back into last season as well. What do you think, Dan Johnson? Are you on my side, or are you on Dan Culverwell's side in relation to the midfield?
I definitely think that for starters, on a bench, you've got to have cover for every position. And quite frankly, we didn't have cover for every position on that bench. So when the injury did happen, it threw a massive spanner in the works. Obviously, you can't plan around everything, but the fact that we did have the options to put onto the bench but we didn't is a massive blunder.
Yeah, I suspect when it was announced, I was trying to put myself in Charlie's shoes, and I suspect he thought we've got options in terms of you can put Connolly into the middle to play kind of that central defensive midfielder, or you can switch it for two midfielders. I think that's probably what he was thinking.
How many games though has Connolly played for us as central midfield?
Well, not many, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's an option. That's all it is. I'm not kind of defending it. I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes, what he was thinking. For me, like I said before, it was a mistake. But that's, he doesn't make many mistakes, does he?
Yeah.
But in fairness, the irony would be that, I mean, like, we're going to talk about how dire we were for the first 20 minutes, but you could argue that when Lowe came on, that was our best sort of part of the game, wasn't it? We actually started getting some joy. I know we scored against the run of play, but it was a cracking goal when it did come. And then obviously that goals can't change games. I said on our WhatsApp group, because we were all saying how poor the first 20 minutes was, I've said goals change games, and then we score a goal, and it did, didn't it? But yeah.
I mean, the problem with that first 20 minutes was that Wootton was too isolated. The gap between Wootton and Diamond and Camps that they were playing, obviously the two behind Wootton, it was just too big. And the Leyton Orient's defence were just absolutely rubbing their hands. They were over physical. They bullied our players. And I think, like I say, when that injury happened to Camps, which was about, 15, 16 minutes into the game, I think he saw it as an opportunity to actually try and change the sort of sway a little bit and have somebody alongside Wootton that would hopefully work better and get that ball to stick a bit more, because he was just so isolated in that beginning of that game.
Did anybody else notice that Dodgson got a pretty heavy whack in the first sort of five minutes, and he rolled his ankle? Did anybody else notice that?
I didn't notice that. No,
I was in Castleton when that happened.
Okay, because he was a completely different player compared to the first two games that we've seen. He wasn't getting forward at all, and that, I wonder whether that really blunted us going forward. And I know Charlie has said in his post match about how we effectively were a back five, weren't we? And we weren't asking any questions of them. We were trying to see the game out, and we'll talk about that. But I think with Dodgson potentially getting injured on the first 5 minutes, I wonder whether that did sort of play into it a little bit as well, because he didn't get forward at all. O'Keefe did pretty well.
Yeah, and also I believe Ethan Pye as well got a knock on Tuesday night. Couldn't walk on Wednesday. Hadn't trained all week with the team going into the game, and same again. You could tell he was like sort of running through treacle that first 10 minutes as well, until he sort of woke up a little bit and got better. But not singling him out, because like you said, they all seem to be that first 15 minutes in a bit of a, I don't know, they're like the teenagers, like they've just crawled out of bed or something. They were just half asleep.
Well, you just look at that first 20 minutes or so, and how many times did they break through and they got through with a goal, potential goal scoring opportunity from getting past the defenders, but then Pye or Connolly would come in at the last minute and just do a kind of really good defensive tackle. But the problem was they'd already let them in, so it was looking good when Pye was kind of blocking stuff, and he did a number of those, but he also let them in as well. Do you know what I mean? It was terrible, wasn't it? First 20 minutes, terrible.
I mean, as a team, though, on the more positive side of that, we've got very good, like, last-ditch, desperate defending. We've got a lot of passion, throwing ourselves in front of the ball when it's almost a certain goal. I mean, what is it? I feel like Pye specifically, he does it basically like four or 5 times a game at this point.
Yeah, Connolly too. Connolly's just does it. He throws himself at the ball. Superb from that point of view.
But I guess you shouldn't be doing that. That's the whole point, isn't it? This last-ditch defending is not what Dave wants us to be doing. And I guess eventually it does come to bite you in the arse. So, I mean, from my notes that I took during the game, it took us 26 minutes to get our first corner. And it was Yeah, it was far post, looking for Horsefall, who obviously isn't there anymore, and it just went out. But does someone want to take us through the Nathan Lowe goal on 28 minutes, because that was mustard. That I like that.
Yeah,
Go on,
I mean, it
guys,
was
give-
superb, wasn't it? I think it was it Diamond cutting in from the left, and
Yeah.
I think he passed it to Moxon. Moxon kind of moved the ball down the right to Corey O'Keefe, who just put a peach of a cross in, and Nathan Lowe buried it again. That's twice in a week. He's looking good from headers, isn't he?
Yeah. And same again, it's very similar to the Crew goal. If you watch Nathan Lowe, he's pointing where he wants the ball. He's pointing where he's going to make his run to attack the ball. And we've said it before, and Dave Challen has said it, that he wants the players to get to the byline. He wants to cross. He wants to give Lowe and Wotton a service to attack. And like I said, when we do that, and you can understand why, same again, why he gets very annoyed, because we stop doing that, then when we do it, we create opportunities. And when you've got finishers like Lowe and Wotton and Brecky on the bench, we will score goals.
It's one of those where we're really good in the box with the headers, but where's that got to come from? It's got to come from the wing backs, because the two players that were playing further up are more inside. They want to cut inside, they want to take a shot and lay it off to someone else. So if Dodgson and O'Keefe aren't getting up, that means we're not creating the width to get the cross in, which means we can't use our strength of heading in the area to go and then cause a threat, score a goal, which is probably the reason why we didn't get much else, in the other 70 minutes where we were, objectively shit.
Objectively shit, but we did score a second goal like 7 minutes later. So Oluwu, so it was a cracking. Well, I mean, let's start with the free kick. So or before the free kick. So decent run from Nathan Lowe. He got hauled back by their central defender. I don't know if it was Happy or Beckles, or can't remember which one it was, but he got a booking for it anyway. And then Norwood steps up, and what a beautiful free kick that was. The Leyton Orient defence switched off. A couple of them in there, both Connolly and Olowu. A diving header. They're the goals that I used to wish I could score when I was playing school, like football at school. I was shit in the air, obviously being 5'7", but I was crap in the air. But diving header, you don't see him anymore because of the way that the is set up.
It's a dying art, in it, diving headers. Everybody seems to want to put a foot on the ball and not put the head in the, and same again. I thought same again. His last week, his debut, Joseph, I thought he was outstanding. A little bit rusty, but he hadn't played a lot of football. Today, he looked 10 times better than what he did at Wickham. I thought, yes, you could fault him in the second half, like all the players, for sitting in deep and getting leggy and getting tired and decision making going out the window. But that first half, I thought he was probably one of the best players on the pitch for County.
Yeah, it was a superb run as well. When I was watching it, I thought, is it offside? But if you watch it on the replay, he's way coming from deep, isn't he? It's a superb run,
and he celebrated it like it meant something to him as well. I'm liking this Joseph already. Olowu. I think he's going to be a real big fans' favourite, because he same again, heart on the sleeve, passion, desire, want, stays on his feet, strong. It's everything that you want to see in a player, isn't he? So I think he's going to be a big fans' favourite.
And he's firmly in the no dickhead policy as well, isn't he? He seems like a really lovely guy.
Yeah.
So and I mean, to be fair, whilst we're talking about Joseph, another couple of minutes later, or 5-6 minutes later, Dan Johnson, he had another attempt, didn't he? And really, I think he should have buried it. What do you think?
I didn't see it. I hadn't gotten home yet, and I hadn't turned the TV on.
Okay,
So,
Steve, you can talk about the chance.
He hit it at goal, didn't he? He was 4 or 5 yards out. Was he on the turn? And he hit it at goal. It could have gone in, but I don't even think the keeper saw it, and it bounced off the keeper's legs and then bounced off low, I think, and out for a goal kick. But Yeah, you should be burying it from there, but it all happened so quickly.
But it was like say like 3 chances in one, wasn't it? It was a bit of a
Yeah.
scramble, and not just him, but there was plenty of opportunity for someone to get that ball in the back of the net.
It was a
Yeah.
shame because he almost took it off Lowe's foot as well.
Yeah.
Because like Lowe was getting ready to position himself to smack it, and one would imagine that a striker would have maybe positioned it slightly better. But there we go. And then 2 minutes later, had another chance, didn't we? So
Yeah.
Diamond running through. Was it 2-on-1? I think it was 2-on-1. But their central defender, in fairness, was it Beckles? He did a brilliant job of sort of just marshalling Diamond and then cutting off the angle to pass to Lowe.
Yeah, but he could have cut back though. He could have cut back and just put a left pass in and Lowe's in on goal. I think he should have passed it.
Yeah,
But
I was
maybe that's-
shouting at the telly, pass it,
Yeah.
pass it, pass it.
Maybe
So-
that's the confidence of the player at the moment as well, though. You know, he's flying high on confidence, isn't he? And he just probably feels like he can bury it. So
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I think you've seen in the Liverpool game on Friday night when you have another attacker, they'd rather split and try and split the defenders up. But I think in the Liverpool-Bournemouth game, there was an incident where the player with the ball actually ran towards his own player to confuse the defender and used him like a blocker as such. When the Bournemouth player scored that second goal to bring the game into 2-2. And it's one of them ones. Lowe sort of didn't really sort of gave an option, but didn't really do much. And I've just felt that between them, Diamond, I think, had the right to take the shot on because he travelled with the ball so well. And if he missed it, then fair enough. But I think, like I said, the goalkeeper made a good save, didn't he?
Yeah, and that sort of took us into the end of the first half. A half that I very much couldn't believe we were winning 2-0 at the time.
So it should have been 3 or 4 as well, shouldn't it?
And it should have been 3 or 4. I mean, if we just go through some of the main stats, so these are from FOTMob. So the first half stats, the momentum graph is just really funny. Like the first 20 minutes, as we know, it's all Leyton Orient. Next 25 was all us. But ball possession, they had 62 to our 38%. XG was very similar, 0.75 to 0.87. We had 8 shots, they had 6. They had none on target, to be fair. And that was one thing that I did obviously notice, that they were taking all these pot shots, and Aaron Connolly looked really, really busy in that first half, but he just hadn't found his shooting boots. And I hate talking about opposition players, but I'm going to do it because he just smacked me as like Paddy Madden Mark II, basically. The way that he was dropping deep, picking the ball up. Our defenders didn't know whether to go with him or to let him go. And then because he was making that extra man in midfield, we'll talk about it in the second half, our midfielders didn't quite know what to do with him either. And he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I know that he's had some personal problems, and that's probably why he's playing League One football, to be fair, because if he hadn't, he's definitely championship quality, that lad.
Yeah. And you could see it. He was I suppose professionals call it cheating a bit. He'd stop running and let everybody else run behind him, but then he'd come alive again and nobody had picked him up, like you said, and he was making them runs, and he was a threat. And he weren't physically fit. He looked a bit like he'd had a summer eating pies, but his mental awareness of what was going on around him, he was absolutely top notch. And same again, I think some of our away fans were getting a bit irate with him and started chucking him a bit of abuse, and he was giving it back as well, which is, it's what you want to see from a player, really. Quite confident in what he's doing, and if you want to shout something at him, he's going to grin at you and give you it back. And fair to him, to be honest. He made them tick. He would, he's the only real player, I think, if you put him in our team, he'd make us look better for sure.
But even down to winning like cheap free kicks as well, he just knew when to sort of slow himself down, and then someone barged him over. I think Wootton did it a couple of times in the second half, but I know that he won a lot of free kicks for them as well.
Just that footballing brain, like you say, just that footballing brain of same. And we've said it before. At times we are very naive of not game management and stuff like that. But yeah, he was a sort of a master in his craft.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shall we head into the second half? I'll just play a short transition and then we'll talk second half. Okie dokie, welcome back everybody. And yeah, we're talking about the 2-2 draw at Leyton Orient. That happened yesterday. We're filming or recording this on Sunday evening, as always. And as a reminder, this will be out Monday morning as well for you to listen to on your commute. So yeah, moving into the second half, we didn't make any changes at all. So Dave must have been happy, and I would have been.
We didn't come out of the changing room. Never mind, didn't make any changes. Let's be absolutely honest. That was, I mean, you know, that was the worst 45 minutes under Dave Challoner. Forget the Tranmere one. That, and like I say, half time came for them at the right time. Wellings has obviously got into them. I'm not saying Challoner hasn't got into him, but we never came out of that changing room.
I'm just going to run through the stats for the second half now, because that's actually going to be a basis of what we're going to be talking about.
Do you
I
have
think
to?
because bloody hell, I mean, I'm not sure I've seen so many zeros before in a Stockport County sort of column. So let's go for it. So ball possession, 79 to them, 21 to us. XG. Okay, now Dave has gone on record at the start of the season saying he wants our XG to be up. I've not looked at it for the first 3 or 4 games, but I think we've got to be down. We've got to be down compared to last season. So they had 0.86 and we had a big fat 0. Okay, they had 7 shots. We had 0. They had 2 shots on target. We had 0. They had 2 big chances. We had 0. Have a guess how many accurate passes we played in 52 minutes of football. Steve, I'm going to come to you. How
20.
many accurate passes?
20.
Okay, you say 20. Dan Culverwell, what are you saying?
I know the answer to it already, so it's not
okay,
a
you
pretty
can
answer.
sit it out. Dan Johnson, were you back from Castleton, or were you still?
I
like,
was.
in the
I
Apex?
saw the whole of the second half, and that's all I watched.
Okay, so how many accurate passes do you think? Bearing in mind, Leyton Orient had 263 accurate passes out of a total of what, 314. How many did we have?
45.
Bloody hell, 44.
Oh,
44. Now, for a
hey.
Dave Challoner side, where we want to control a game, that is.
Well, let's be honest.
Unforgivable. It really
Corey
is.
Adar usually has 44 accurate passes in a half on his own. Never mind the whole
Well,
team.
he didn't yesterday, did he? Because he was just punting the ball up. Let's face it. And now I don't know whether he was in Dave's sort of sights when he was referring to lumping the ball forward. I know quite a few of our players were guilty of it. It wasn't just Corey, but people have got a show for him, I guess. And it's funny, isn't it, Steve, how last season we were criticising Adai of fanning around with the ball and maybe a bit too much and all sort of very short play. This season he's not done it once. It is literally ball comes to him, boom, off it goes.
Yeah. Maybe that's when you've got 2 big centre forwards on the pitch. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. But there was not a lot right with that second half, was there?
No, we were just second best to everything. Unfortunately, we lost the individual battles. We were second best to the second balls. We just, we was, like I said, we were still in the changing room.
Yeah, it just felt like the clock was ticking, didn't you? And you thought that first goal was going to come. You didn't know when it was going to come, but it was going to come. And the more you talked about, was it Connolly before?
Yeah.
The more he got into the game, the more and more he was making it tick, and it was just, it was a matter of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to mention Connolly because I think one of the big contributing factors to why we couldn't lay a glove on them was the fact that he was dropping in from centre forward to around midfield, and we didn't know what on earth to do with him. Who should go and mark him? Who should be going pressing him? Who should go and put a foot in? Midfield didn't want to do it. Defence didn't want to do it. So we just kind of sat off them the entire time and just,
He was doing what Ollie Norwood does, coming in deep, collecting the ball off the defence. But the difference is where Ollie Norwood would spray the ball about, he would spray the ball, but then he would be you blink and he's on the penalty spot.
Yeah.
He's on the penalty spot to receive it, and that's what Ollie doesn't do, does he? He gets it, moves it about, and he stays in that area. But like you say, with Connolly, he was making that run straight into the penalty box, and nobody was picking him up.
He does what Nick Powell does, doesn't he? You watch Nick Powell, and people will say, "Oh, he's lazy, he doesn't do anything," but he's moved from the edge of our area to the edge of the other area in the blink of an eye, and that's what he does.
The frustrating thing for me, though, with Nick Powell, in the 2 years that we've had him, we've not employed him in that role. He's played as pretty much a defensive midfielder.
Primarily, yeah.
Yeah, primarily. So, which is unfortunate. And obviously, there's rumours around Nick Powell leaving as well. I don't think he was ever really a Dave Challoner type of player. I don't know. I don't know everything that's going on there, and we don't know anything. But it's such a shame to see that we've got a midfield where we've got 2 injuries now, Bate and Camps.
Yeah.
We literally have 2 fit first team midfielders, and Nick Powell is just like nowhere to be seen. Basically,
I mean, to be fair, we don't even know if he's fit, do we? But
has he not come out and said that he's fit at some point? No, maybe
he
not.
always says that, doesn't he?
Does
So
he?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's got a clause in his contract that says that if he is fit and available to play, he gets an extra $5,000 or something. I don't know. But come on, let's talk about their first goal. So obviously there's not a lot for us to talk about from a county point of view because we literally did nothing in that second half. But their goal, so they broke pretty quickly through midfield, and I think O'Keefe should have brought their player. Do you know the guy that sort of broke through? He should have brought him down and just fouled him.
While in the midfield,
because we weren't set. Okay, and I know that eventually we then sort of managed to get some players back, and that midfield guy sort of did a bit of a trick and sort of put one of our defenders. I think Pye missed his tackle or was sort of put on the other way, and he rolled it to Connolly, who it's a beautiful finish, like really composed pass into the back of the net, and at 2-1 on 57 minutes. You were there, Dan. You were there, Steve. Crowd, I guess, Leyton Orient crowd were thinking, okay, we can do this.
It was a bit of a weird one because same again, there was a lot of banter going on with the Leyton Orient fans. The build up to obviously our first goal, our first corner, where their goalkeeper misses it. There's a lot of chanting going both ways. But the biggest surprise with that first goal for Leyton Orient was, like you say, it was on the 57th minute. It felt like it was on the 78th or the 90th minute. I'm like, we've only played 10 minutes of the second half here and we're absolutely on our knees. That goal was coming. That was well and truly coming. It weren't a surprise at all. And when you sort of looked at the clock and you think, oh, bugger it, we've got a long way of the game to go yet. And we're second best all over the pitch. It was a good finish, in fairness. Like you say, he's come on the ball, hit the ball first time. He sort of wrapped it round the defender and into the corner past Corey's reach. Could Corey have got to it? I don't know.
Did you think Aloru was close enough to him, though? Because I didn't.
Yeah, I think the same again. That might have been another one of Dave's comments, if you remember. He said about one-on-one defending. You're going to have to do a lot of one-on-one defending in this club, and players are told that when they come in. So I don't know if that is with reference to that goal and expecting defenders to stand up, don't keep on backing off and giving them space to actually stand your ground and put a foot in. So yeah, I don't want to sort of. I think, like I say, everyone looking back at that goal, it won't just be an individual think I could have done better.
Yeah, in regards to the shot too, it was low driven, quite hard and back across Corey. So I don't think he could have gotten to it really. Like, no, even if he got down any quicker, it was just that fast and that just slightly too far away from him. I don't think he would have gotten to it.
I think it's because he hit it first time on it. As soon as it sort of rolled over to him, he sort of hit it first time. And I always say, if you do that, then you give the keeper less chance to set himself. And
you've wrong-footed him, so he's not going to be able to dive as far or get down as quickly. So, yeah.
And it was bent round the defender, as you said. as well, Dan. I think it was you that said that, and again, that probably unsighted Corey a little bit. Absolutely no blame on the keeper whatsoever. I mean, sometimes when you concede a goal like that, you get a response from the team that's just conceded it, but unfortunately for us, it was definitely not that, and they had their tails up, and they were baying for, well,
Yeah.
I was concerned that we may even go on to lose the game at that point, the way that we were playing. I mean, Dave made some substitutions, didn't he, on 72 minutes? And he made basically the only changes I think he could have done. Obviously, Benno is just back from injury, and again, I'll go back to the subs thing and not having Bailey or Fiorini on the bench. At least we know they are more match ready than someone like Anderson. What's the point in having Anderson on the bench if you're not going to bring him on? So I mean, we brought on Mothersill, who we know is coming back from an injury as well. Potentially not the sort of game, from what I've seen, the first 3 games, the sort of game that's going to suit him either. And then we brought Andrew on as well, who's been excellent for us. He's had a couple of assists already. But with Wotton and Dodgson going off again, Dodgson potentially having that knock in the first sort of 5-10 minutes of the game, that potentially made sense. But Woods is so important to us in both penalty boxes. But I guess he needs a break as well, doesn't he? So what do you do?
It's a bit of a hard one because, like I say, Leyton Orient are a real physical team, and like I say, we weren't winning them individual battles. Lowe, as much as he was trying, they were picking him up at times and tossing him to the floor. The Leyton Orient defence, they were absolutely immense. They weren't.
He got nothing though. He got nothing out of them, did he? And
no,
there were
and nothing out of the
of
referee as well. And at times, same again. Yeah, are you better just leaving Wotton up front to be that battering ram, to be more of a physical presence? As much as I think Nathan Lowe is talented, he's only 19. Yes, he's got a big frame on him, but he hasn't got the street smarts as what Wotton has. He
But
might
to
not
be
have the
fair,
skill
Omar
level.
Beckles had Wotton on toast in the 2 playoff games last season anyway. Wotton didn't get a lot out of Beckles. He is when he's fit, and I know he's a bit injury prone for them, but I think when he's fit, they tend to win most games that he's playing, I think. And he was just the dark arts again. I mean, like little pushes here and there, and the referee not giving anything. And the referee was pretty young. I thought he's probably the youngest ref I've seen out like for a long time, which is good for the sport. I don't know, but he looked sort of early 30s to me, which is pretty young for a ref.
I think we played into their hands a little bit because we were carried on lumping it forward and playing so direct, because they were a lot more physical than we are, especially with their centre backs. We weren't going to get any joy from balls to a target man or maybe balls over the top, because again, the dark arts, they're gonna use the football smarts just to win these little battles, have the ref not give a free kick our way. What we probably should have done was keep it calm, get it on the deck, and play it around the back, but we didn't.
But that's what he wants
definitely
us to do, doesn't he? That's listening to Challen, that's the way that he wants us to play. Getting to the byline, crossing the ball in, giving a service into Lowe or Wotton, and we attack that 6-yard box. And that's how our sort of goals came from as well, attacking the 6-yard box. And like you say, we just didn't do it at all. We sort of, like you say, played into their hands, Leyton Orient, which, same again, is that the players, as Dave Challen's alluded to, doing what they wanted to do, opposed to not following the plan, the instruction, because I just get the feeling that wasn't what the game plan was.
But it does go back to bravery as well, though. Obviously, they decided to put 5 on 5. So like they literally put 5 players up front. Okay, so we then have to decide. Okay, are we going to go 5 on 5 and drop, which is what we ended up doing, and we just got pinned back, or do we stick with what we're doing and then find the spaces in behind them? Yeah. And that's what we didn't do. It was one of those games that at 2-1 we could have had a break at some point, just like a lucky break. The ball breaks for us. We're then 3-on-2 and we make it 3-1 and the game's done. But as it was,
well, it made them stats least look a little bit better. We'd have had 1 shot and on them stats, so yeah, it'd have been a bit better. Same again, not a single corner in that second half.
I thought Kyle Wotton had a. Sorry, not Kyle Wotton. I thought Corey Adai had a. Was it first or second half when he had a shot? Did you notice that when you're in the ground? I mean, John Kieran was convinced that he had a shot in that half. I think he just like boomed it forward basically, but not convinced. So yeah, more hanging on, guys. I guess as I say, Mothersill didn't get into the game at all. We didn't feed him. He was feeding off scraps. Nathan Lowe was feeding off scraps as well. And it goes to show, doesn't it? Someone like Tanto massively missed in a game like that, Steve.
Yeah, just from the drive he does from midfield and, running forward, giving defenders, a lot to think about, putting those balls into the channels, and he's running the ball down there. Yeah, he's great in that. We didn't have that yesterday, but, we're still bare bones, aren't we? We haven't got a full squad to go out here, and we're doing the best we can with what we've got. And yesterday it was just an off day. Do you know what I mean? It was just an off day. And but kind of, there was a few times where Wotton gave free kicks away in dangerous areas as well, which is not like him. Just outside the area and stuff like that. And he came off pretty soon after the third of them he gave away. But I don't know. It's just one of those days yesterday.
Yeah,
Do you think it's potentially fatigue that's sort of setting in? I mean, obviously we've done a very different pre-season this year, and I know that Liam sort of touched on it. I think was it Sandburn, one of the two. The fact that we literally have played 3 competitive pre-season games. Okay, Pinatar as well, but certainly not the way that we have done in the past. Are the players maybe not quite there from a fitness point of view?
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I mean, it might be. I just think we all have those days at work when everything goes wrong, and everything went wrong. They got it wrong as employees of a football club. They got it wrong yesterday. Did they follow the instructions? I think Charlie says they didn't. And if they didn't follow instructions, then they'll know that. But at the end of the day, last year's Rude Awakening was Wickham at home, and we lost 5-0. If this year's Rude Awakening is a 2-2 draw against a team that's going to be up there away at the end of the season, I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
Had we not already lost 4-0 to Leyton Orient by the Wickham
we lost.
game?
But it was the bit I'm talking about. Charlie's lambasted interview after a game. Wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Come on, let's just finish this off. So the equalising goal came on 92 minutes. We'd obviously brought Brad Hills on at that point, and Conley had shifted into midfield. So Norwood was off, Diamond was off by that point. 2 very important players for us. Fevs came on, who is way off match fitness.
But I think they made a mistake when they brought Brad Hills on. I wouldn't have put him in at that right centre-back position because that's where all the danger was coming from. And Alohu stayed on, and he was kind of controlling that danger most of the game. Yeah. So, I think if you're going to put Brad Hills on, put him as a centre-back, or push him into an extra defender in front of the back 3 or something.
Yeah.
And he did not have any match sharpness at all.
No,
he was slow. He wasn't reacting to things. He wasn't aware of his surroundings, which is where the goal came from, as we'll probably get onto in a second. I think it was just the wrong thing to put him on.
Yeah, and I think we fell in a bit of a trap as well, because when they came on in 90 minutes, I think we thought we made it. We've got over the line here. We just have to control the ball, and I think we just dropped our levels just a little bit when that 4th assistant puts the how many minutes you've got to play, and think, oh, we've done this, we've crossed the line, and we hadn't. We got our pants.
It was 7 minutes, Dan. We were nowhere near crossing the line.
I know, but just when you brought on Brad Hills and stuff, and you think, we've got this now. We'll see this out. We'll defend it out, and we like I say, we didn't. I think they had played a through ball just literally the minute before, very similar, a ball straight through the defence, and a bit of last minute ditch defending, managed to clear the ball away, and then, like you say, the ball through. At the time in the stand, it looked a little bit offside, but obviously, I don't know if it was or not.
It's borderline, isn't it? But
the angles that Yeah, the angles on TV, replays of the goal were crap. So it's just unknown whether he was or not. But and with you guys, I think when you hit 88 minutes, if you start changing your back line, you do run the risk of something like that happening. Because I think Hills maybe did he play him on side or something? Had he dropped back a little bit so he wasn't quite in line or something along those lines?
I think it was a very, very well timed run, and
Yeah, it
Hills he just didn't react in time. He obviously had some inkling that he was about to make the run, but it was a very good run and it was a decent pass. And he was caught in no man's land. He didn't know whether to stay tight to the man, didn't know whether to try and go for the ball, and got caught in two minds. So it's just a bit of a lapse of judgment, I reckon.
Yeah.
So okay, so 3 games in, we've got 7 points, and we'd have all taken that, wouldn't we? I mean, I know that I've been whinging particularly. Steve's been the voice of reason, as always. So thanks, Steve. But yeah, 7 points from 3 tough games on paper when the fixtures came out. Bolton hard, Wickham hard, Leyton Orient hard. So yeah, so I think we can probably say we would have taken that at the start of the season. Do we agree?
Yeah, and you just got to look at it though as well. Ask the question to yourself: will we get better? Yes, that's the answer. Yes, we'll get better. And the more Charlie works with the team, the better they will get. They'll learn from that on Saturday. We'll hopefully see a reaction on Tuesday. Last time we had a poor performance, the one I talked about before against Wickham, we then went and played Bolton at home and won 5-0. Hopefully we'll have the same. I don't know if we will, but I just, whatever team goes out there on Tuesday, you watch, and there should be a reaction.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, Bradford are not going to be easy. Obviously, they've had a good start themselves. They are Stockport County Mark II with Torre, and we've got Torre, Byrne, Sarcevic,
soon to be Powell.
Is that it?
Well, Nick Powell after next week
potentially. So they're going to be up for it. Those players. Do we think Richie Wellens has got a little bit of a hoodoo on us? I mean, I know we beat them at their place in the league before the playoffs, didn't we? Or did we draw?
We
beat them 1-0 with a Madden penalty, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did.
The last 3 games have been 3 draws, obviously, the 2 playoffs and Saturday, it's always 3 draws. I think Wellens on Saturday's game he won the half-time battle, didn't he? Obviously, he's had more influence over his team than what Challoner did with his, and he won the half-time battle. But are we surprised? We know Wellens is a good manager, to be honest. I mean, most county fans will say that if Dave Challoner moves on to pastures new, that the Wellens would be top of their wish list to come in for county. So, no real big surprise, to be honest. I mean, I'm a bit surprised. Well, I mean, Dave was that furious. He didn't really have anything sort of positive, not positive, but he normally says, well, it's a bad result if we don't, it's all about the next game. We have to then go and get 3 points in the next game, and that will, cement the result or thing. A lot of county fans are probably looking at it going, well, we're 2-0 up and we've drawn a game, so that's why they're disappointed. After them first 20 minutes, I'd have took a draw before we scored all day long. So it's not the end of the world by any means. It was a very up and down game. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one for me.
Yeah, for me, it was like 3 points dropped and 1 point gained, all in the same match.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I
want to correct myself earlier. I thought we were talking about Bradford. When we played them, when we got the playoff thingy at home, we got beat 2-1, didn't we? Leyton Orient.
No,
we
drew 2-2 lost some penalties.
We drew 2-2 at their place, didn't we?
Oh no, not in the playoffs, in the league.
Oh, in the league. Yeah. Okay then.
Yeah. So,
I mean, yeah. Fair play. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, man of the match. Is it worth doing man of the match after you've had a game like that?
No,
I don't think it is. Let's just move on from man of the match. I am going to say though, I mean, we've got 2 weeks after the transfer window. Yeah, 2 weeks ish. And when Dave in the interview was saying that he didn't feel that the midfield was a problem, I really think the midfield was a problem. I think we need another midfielder in there. I really do. And if we're going into the season without another midfielder coming into the club, I mean a proper one, not Onyango, who's like a mean, is Onyango a midfielder or is he a defender? We saw him play defence, but potentially he can play there as well. But unless we get a specialist midfielder, I think it's going to be a hard season.
Well, it comes back to that problem of not having a left, because I still think Ethan Pye could do a job for us in midfield, but he's never going to play in midfield while you haven't got another left-footed defender. We
want to win the league, Dan. We want to win the league, Dan, and we're not going to win the league by playing someone who we think can do a job in midfield. It's got to be a specialist midfielder, and we spent a lot of money in this transfer window. Malik Mothersill, who has obviously come in, who's a similar type of player to a Diamond or a Fevrier from his highlights reel, I think. Brad Hills has come in probably because it was an opportunistic signing. We had the opportunity to get him. He probably wasn't on our radar, and then it became available, and we know that he's got good potential resale value in the future, England under 19 international, all that sort of stuff. But we need a midfielder. I really think we do.
But do you not think we're going to get a midfielder? I mean,
I'd love to think, but we've got to, with Lewis Bate being out until, as you said, Dan, earlier, potentially Christmas time.
Yeah.
He's not going to come back in straight away and go, great, okay, and then be putting like 9 out of 10 performances in. He's going to take him time to get back, maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, but Charlie's also not going to alert all the other teams around us that we want a midfielder, is he?
Oh, I like that. I like that, Steve.
That's what they do. There's no way he's going to say that, because your bargaining power goes. All of a sudden, you're paying twice as much for a player that you want. So
the voice of reason again, Steve. I love you. Yeah, it's a good point.
I want to add to that too, is that with how good our recruitment has been recently, we're not going to panic buy a midfielder. We're going to get somebody in who is going to be able to do a good job for us, and maybe have either on a year contract to shore up in the midfield, or to have good resale value later on.
Here's another one. Oh, I'm sorry.
I gotta say, I do not have any any doubt that we won't get somebody who will fit the squad.
Yeah, me too.
Also, I'll chuck this one to you guys. O'Keefe, do you put your hand in your pocket now and buy him, or run the risk in putting the performances in other clubs, getting interested in him? Same with Dodgson, really. I know we've got an agreement in principle to buy him, but do you run that risk, or do you put your hand in your pocket and get him now from what you've seen of them?
Not O'Keefe for me.
No, not yet. I like him. I like what I see. I think his crossing ability is superb. Jury's still out a little bit for me on his defensive ability, and I don't want to be harsh here, because I'm really impressed with the guy. I'm very pleased he's a Stockport player at the moment, and hopefully he'll have an amazing season, and we will want to buy him. And he'll be out of contract at where's he at? Barnsley. He'll be out of contract, so he can just join us because he loves being at the club. That's kind of the way I want to see it play out. I'm not 100% on him yet, but I do like him.
Remember, we've also been linked with Roman Dixon as well as a loan from Everton in that sort of right wing back role.
In county kit on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you sent us a photo, didn't you?
Yeah. So he's walking up and down the stand like in full kit. So yeah.
Okay, well let's just very quickly move on to Bradford. Obviously we've sort of touched on this, that we really need to sort of forget about this Leyton Orient game and hopefully get the 3 points. So are we confident, Dan Johnson? Are you confident that we'll see a reaction from the players?
Oh, almost certainly, yeah. I mean, every other time Charlie's come out and said something like that, we've always gotten a reaction out of the players. And to be honest, if there isn't at least a better performance, if we don't beat Bradford, because they are really good at the minute, then all I want to see is a better performance. Something that we can, have a bit of dignity in watching.
Yeah. Who's Bradford played? Sorry, do we know who they've played already?
Who, Bradford? I can tell you very quickly, he says.
Because that's always a good gauge, isn't it? You look who we've played, and we're only at 60% capacity at the moment.
They just beat Luton, if that helps, yesterday.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they beat Luton 2-1 at home. They lost to Blackburn they beat Blackburn in the cup, didn't they? Midweek, Torres scored that sort of wonder goal. The week before that, in the league, 0-0 Northampton away.
Wickham.
And they beat Wickham on the opening day 2-1 at home. So it's yeah. I mean, I always expect Bradford to do well at home. I think their Achilles heel will be their away form. It's not really, they've drew with Accrington. That's League Two. So yeah, I'm expecting their Achilles heel to be away from home. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, to be honest. But I think, in all fairness, it's all about us. I think what I expect is us to be front foot, all the principles that Dave Challoner says, intensity, at it, free at the back, wing backs, the wing backs were further back than the back three at the stages on Saturday's game against Leyton Orient. I expect them wing backs to be acting more like a nearly basically up front. So it'll be like a 1-4 3 type situation, if that works out, or my maths is completely wrong. Yeah. So
Well, if the one is the goalkeeper, that works out.
No, Wharton up front, you'll have, like I say, where you used to have like Camps and Diamond, I think the wing backs will be so pushed up, they'll be acting as wingers, and then they're just a midfield and your back three just sat there basically. So yeah, I expect it to be really dynamic, front foot, intensity, and a reaction, a response. Because in all fairness, when Charlie gives out a whooping like that in a team, after the game review, then he usually gets a response.
Yeah, indeed. Great stuff. Well, okay, guys, thank you for joining me as always. I think we'll wrap it up there.
Just before you go, just want to say I had a couple of fans that watched the pod come and say hello to us at Leyton Orient. So, thank you for coming along and saying hello, and thank you for the kind words again, what you said about the pod and everybody that's on it. So, Ross, thank you, and Carl, thank you. And just anyone that, obviously, if you spot any of us guys that are on the pod or the Wednesday show at any of the games, please come over and say hello. If we don't remember your name, then please send a message over on like the socials to say that you bumped into us and said hello, because we're not great with remembering names at games, to be honest. But it is appreciated when people come and say hello to any of us. So yeah, thank you very much.
And also thank you to our podcast sponsors as well, Overpass Clothing. So thank you, Jimmy and Steve at Edgeley Conservative Club coaches as well. So we really appreciate all the support that you give us as well. So on that note, let's say goodbye. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.